Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
Yeah, hi, Kelvin.
Yeah, sorry for the hiccup. This is take two, I guess. Hopefully we
Yeah,
get it right this time. I'm still centered and can you hear me properly?
yeah, I can hear you. If you can be on your right side little bit.
Am I right? So is it like this way
Uh,
or
yeah,
that
this
way?
is this is perfect.
Okay, cool. Nice. All
Um,
right, so let's do it again.
hi, Kelvin.
Hi, Sai. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's 7:44 a.m. in Nigeria. I actually got out of bed just because I was like 12 minutes from this call, but it's fine. It's good.
That's great, man. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So I thought I have seen your profile. I can see you're doing a lot of work. So I thought to tell about your work to my audience. So can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Kelvin Omereshone. I'm from Nigeria. I have been doing web dev since 2018. Right now, I am currently a web development consultant, helping web development teams ship less JavaScript to their users, like for them not to hurt the user experience and also for them not to hurt their businesses because they just, ship too much JavaScript. I am also an indie hacker. I have been working on products since 2020 when I built Sailscasts.com, a platform to learn full stack JavaScript with the Sales.js framework. I've also worked on a JavaScript tool for developers to just like tinker around with their JavaScript called Copy. Currently, I'm working on my third commercial project, which is mostly to scratch my own itch, as the rest were. It's called Hackfish. It's to help modern creators send invoices, manage their invoices, and a lot of other stuff. And it will be like launched soon. Um, I am also the lead maintainer of Sailscasts, which is an open source project. It's a web framework to build full stack JavaScript applications. I have been a technical writer. I have a YouTube. All around, I just like sharing the things I learned. So I've just found a lot of outlets to do that, be that articles, be that tweets, be that YouTube videos or courses. Yeah.
So before getting into more about your work, I want to introduce my sponsor for this episode, uh, which is Stack Adam. Sales and customer-facing teams often switch between various communication tools, causing time management and visibility issues that slow down deal velocity. The solution is Stack Adam. With Stack Adam, your team can centralize all communications within your chat tool, ensuring compliance, no more switching, waiting, or fragmented chats. Sales teams reach customers where they are building trust and relationships through constant communication. Plus, Start Adam auto summarizes conversations in your CRM, eliminating data entry and speeding up deals. Join Start Adam today and start building customer relationships with centralized and compliance chat. Thank you very much again for being on my show, Kelvin.
Sure.
So you're a web consultant. You're a web design developer consultant. So tell me about your projects. You're from Nigeria.
Yes, I am from Nigeria. Um, So before now, I used to have like a 9 to 5 job. Um, I've been a developer advocate twice for two different companies. So I think about a month ago, I was like, you know what? So there was a layoff, and instead of like trying to get back in the job market, I was why don't I just do the thing I've always wanted to do, which is like to strike out on my own, use my complex skill sets in order to like do indie hacking and also all these other projects I've been working on since 2018 and 2020. Let me try and make it a little bit more profitable to sustain me. So the goal is at least to get to 100% of my salary before now from all these different ventures, right? So I wanted to do consulting for two reasons, right? So one is because I've been giving a series of talks, like 4 times now, called "Do You Really Need All That JavaScript?" And I decided that I wanted to do consulting. So at first, I thought I was going to do like Vue.js because I use Vue, the UI framework, or Sailscasts consulting, like help teams make better choices. But when I did a little bit of self introspection, I discovered that what I really wanted to do if I'm going to consult with companies is to try to get them on the JavaScript diet and budget. Because what people don't understand, especially in today's world of web dev where everything is done with JavaScript, the more JavaScript you ship to your users, the more they have to download, the more they have to process. And you are leaving your website, also your business website, at the mercy of the user's devices. And not everyone is on a high-end device. Someone is like going to be on like a low-end devices, can process with that JavaScript. So I've been giving talk like you need to get your JavaScript on the diet and on budget. And I was like, why don't I just do this for teams, like help them, understand their needs and also help them get on the JavaScript. Right. So that's why I got shiplessjavascript.com domain, and I did the announcement like I'm going to be consulting and helping teams to like shipless JavaScript. So that's been fun. And for indie hacking, right, which is so that's one thing about the internet I like, which is give you this rare opportunity to be from anywhere and build for anyone. So far, you are giving them value. You could be anywhere and people can use your stuff. Since I've been hacking around since 2020 with Salescast.com and also Gopi. So Gopi has been a little bit more successful than Salescast in the long run because people do buy the 1 year licenses to use the tool. So my current project, Hashfish, is a pain I found after contracting and also hiring contractors for like, for almost 3 to 4 years, where, there's not this modern tool that was built specifically for creators to like, manage your invoices and not just invoices, things like contracts and all that stuff. So Hackfish is built to like solve the problem for me first, and also a bunch of people I spoke to that want to like take away this pain. Which there are tools out there that do it, but not this unique set of because I have a lot of context because I've been doing this for a while, so I really know what I wanted. And fortunately, other people, other remote creators also want them too. So that's been what I've been up to commercially, and I also do a lot of open source as well. And there's just a lot, so you just have to direct me with where to go.
So the projects that you are doing right now,
Yes.
yeah, what kind of projects you are doing?
Okay. So is it the open source one or the commercial one?
Uh, I can see you have also founded your own company.
Yes, yes. So all the projects I'm doing right now, the commercial one and mostly and some the commercial one and all of the open source one are for my company, the Sailscasts company, which is like the umbrella for everything I do, both commercially and open source. So we know it's open source, so there's no like any license. It's just there's like we use as you want license for them. So my company mostly is to let me be like the umbrella for me to build tools for developers and also other creators. So Hackfish will be like the first non-developer tool that I will be building, even though developers could use it to like manage their invoices and all, but it's not really like a dev a tool. It's more like, like a creator tool. So yeah.
So you created it.
Yes, yes. So Hackfish is not really out yet. So I'm working on the 1.0. Just a couple of fixes. So I am going to close launch it. So I have like a wait list. So I'm going to launch it to those in the wait list closely and also use it for a while before I launch it out in the wild. So it's like 80% done. So the other 20 should, so I plan to launch it by the end of the year, but if not possible, it's going to be like the January 2024.
So what tools and technologies that you use to serve businesses needs? It can be open source or it can be the commercial.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, um, to solve businesses' needs, it depends on what the problem is really. Um, so if like it's a web dev problem, like like with my consultancy, there are a couple of tools that could actually help companies solve their to get their JavaScript on the diet, right? For example, the first tool is to just not ship any JavaScript at all, right? Like, like for marketing pages, if there's no interactivity on your page, there are a couple of technologies I could suggest to let you know what, you don't need all this JavaScript you're shipping to do all that stuff. Just let go of the JavaScript. So there are things like Astro.js. Um, there are also things like Inertia. So, and also I built like a stack that lets you use Inertia.js, which is like a very nice way to build single page applications today that will really lead to you having more two code bases for your API and for your front end. And so yeah, and there's also a tool called Quick, and another thing that we cannot control, which is our third party libraries that we have to put on our pages. So for things like a good example is Google Analytics. Um, Even though you don't use it first party, it can slow down your website if you're loading it just just having it run anytime it wants. So you could use something like Party Town to like delegate that to like a web worker so it doesn't really affect your page's performance for your user. So they're just a bunch of tools, and all these tools I mentioned are open source, and they are what I would recommend to companies when I know their unique use cases. And there are also others, but yeah.
And what is your expertise?
Yeah, my expertise is on stack JavaScript. So building web applications with just JavaScript from the server to the front end. That's my domain. In terms of frameworks, I primarily use a framework called Vue.js for UI and for servers and building full stack applications. Like I use something called Sails and Node.js. So yeah, full stack applications with JavaScript. That's my domain. I've been in that domain for like since 2018. Yeah.
So how much you have experience as a developer, software developer?
Yeah. So 5 to 6 years. So professionally, I've been working since 2018, but I've been into software way longer than that. So probably discovered coding since 12 or 11. I don't know exact. But professionally since 2018, so that will be like 5, 6 years now.
So before that, before 2018, what was your work?
Yeah, before 2018, I was mostly just a hobbyist developer, really. So I was just taking free code camp courses, shout out to them. Also learning from like YouTube channels like the New Boston and Lynda.com. I think now LinkedIn bought them or something like that. So I was just learning web development for the fun of it and for like solving problems. And that was what I was basically doing before 2018. I got my first web development job.
So right now you're working for your own company.
Yes, right now I'm working for my own company, which is fun. I've also started one new venture, which is like a community for African indie hackers, which is to encourage Africans to do more indie hacking. because I feel it's one side of web of the building on the internet that is not really tapped in Africa, because most folks just want to get a job. Not that there's anything wrong with getting a job, but I believe that you can also create on the internet. So I just want to have meetups and summits so like inspire people to do that.
So your clients are from Africa or from other countries?
Yeah, they're mostly from other countries, really. So even all my products, I think 80% of users and clients have always been from around the world, which is one thing I love the internet for, which is this unfair advantage of being anywhere and also have um, businesses around the world. So 80 to 90% are just from around the world, from the US, from the United Kingdom, from Australia, from different places.
So how is working for them?
Yeah, it's been good. Um, it's been really good so far. We're gonna have like a meeting today as well. So it's something I really like because I get to. It's more like it's not a passion. It's a really okay. Maybe it is a passion, but I get to understand their problems with their JavaScript applications and give solutions. So I'm not like a freelancer. I'm not like an expert consultant. So they tell me their problems. I prove it. I then suggest solutions to them or help their team implement the solutions if they want them. So it's two sessions, right? The first one is for me to just diagnose the problem, then prove a solution. Then if they want me to implement the solution with their team, like to guide your team to do that, that would be like, maybe we could do like for like 2, 3 weeks or even like a month, depending on how long they want me. So it's been really, really fun.
So the businesses that you worked for, which industry it belongs to?
Mm, It's it could cross across a lot of industries really. So far you are shipping a JavaScript application. It doesn't really matter the industry you're in because so there are other web dev shops or agencies who want like an extra expert eye to look at their projects in order for them to like cut down the JavaScript you're shipping. It could be like a full-on SaaS application that their users are complaining, be like, this application is slow and they want an expert opinion on how to make it faster. So it doesn't matter the industry. So far, you have a website or web application on the web, I could help you out.
So why I'm asking this question, because you are a developer, also a business owner. So
Yeah.
there will be a lot of business owners who will be watching and listening to our conversation because they are not much into technology. They are not aware
hmm
of what tools and technologies have been used for their web applications. So if you can tell how the skill set that you have, the technology skill set that can solve problems of different businesses that you have solved before. So if you can mention the businesses that you worked for, it can be a technology industry or water industry or fish industry, so they can relate with it.
Yeah, definitely. So so one good case study industry is like e-commerce, right? I think everyone could. So you have a store, you're selling something online, um, and the simplest way is your users are telling you that it's slow to access your websites or your web application. It's slow to do stuff. And maybe you give that project to like a third party shop to build and you don't really understand all the technicalities. But the only thing I want you to remember is they're telling you it's slow, right? And you want to make it faster because for every second your website is slow, you probably are losing money because people are just going to leave your website. All right. So that is the red flag you should be looking for. It's slow. And as a business owner, that's what you should look looking for. As a team lead, let's say you are a development team lead, you want to make your code base more maintainable. So I'm talking to like the technical person now, and it takes you all too long to ship stuff, maybe because of the technical debt and how much JavaScript you've already written. So that's the other signal for you to like talk to someone like me. who have the experience to understand your use case and also look at ways for you to trim down the JavaScript. So for businesses, your users are complaining that your website is slow, or it's taking too long to load, or they click something, it's not working immediately. So a good case study for like the businesses that help is like an e-commerce, because an e-commerce should be fast. For example, it shouldn't take much time to do stuff. And also, if your business or your marketing page needs to be friendly to search engine, that you want people to be easy to Google you, and that's not happening today because of the kind of the way your web application is built, you should also talk to me, because it's not SEO, it's not search engine optimization, it's mostly trying to reorient your tech stack in order for you to build pages that Google will like. Yeah.
So you're mostly into e-commerce business.
Yes. Yes. E-commerce, SaaS applications, um, like just like I said, so far you have a website online, no matter the businesses you're doing. You can be in the um delivery industry. I'm also helping out someone with launching their new SaaS application to pick like the right stack for them in order for them to build a nice marketing page that would also be SEO friendly. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are, so far you have a web application need. Yeah.
So,
But an e-commerce is a good use case.
so do you remember the toughest challenges that you faced in this period when you started your company from 2018 till now? The toughest problems that you solved that you feel proud for?
So since 2018, while I was contracting, I've built a couple of projects from start to bottom, for Web3 projects, like, and also mobile apps. So I've been doing mobile apps before. So I think the most challenging bit was building mobile apps, because even though it was interesting for me, it's the freedom we have on the web is not as it's not the same for building mobile apps. So, but it was really fun building stuff with like Swift, Flutter, and all that jazz. So mostly is building on these different platforms, and also mm, the classic problem, right, of consulting or contracting is getting clients. Right? So, but it's been really fairly good and easy so far. So that's just going to be mostly it's building on these platforms and also getting clients.
So tell me about your team.
Yeah, so that's the fun thing. I don't have a dev team. I'm a team of one. I have contractors that work with me on contracts, mostly for designing. So maybe like graphics design, designing logos and stuff. But in terms of development and everything I do, it's mostly just me.
So what you can do?
Um, what can I do?
Yeah, what you can do for any business? How you can help
Yeah,
them?
what I can do for a business today, which is something I'm interested in, is to help them streamline the performance of their web applications by giving them advice on how to reduce the JavaScript they are shipping today. Like I said, JavaScript can make your site slow. So if you don't know what JavaScript is, it's mostly what lets you click on the web page and something happens. So I can help you put your JavaScript on a budget. Yeah.
So what do you see the change from 2018 to till now? The performance in the internet because you're building websites, how it is impacting the business websites, the internet.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good question. So this is the thing. So before now, like more modern, like maybe 5, 10 years ago, JavaScript was mostly just going to be sprinkled on your website for like little bits of interactivity. But these days, people are building entire like desktop-like or mobile app experiences on the web. And the only way they could do that is by having JavaScript handle a lot of the work in terms of rendering, interactivity, and all that. So the changes in JavaScript is not free. So businesses mostly like this app-like experience on the web, but it comes at the cost of you giving megabytes of JavaScript to your users to download and for their devices to also evaluate, which is so how fast their devices can do that mostly um, requires them to have fast devices. But most people don't have fast mobile phones or fast internet connections, right? So the change we've seen is people are hurting their businesses because when these websites are being developed, they are being developed in the happy path, like we call it, where you have high-end devices, fast internet connection. But when you ship them, it doesn't behave the way you expect because the user don't have the same resources you have. Right? So we found that people are hurting their users and also their businesses. In fact, someone told me like in confidence that an e-commerce shop, like a very big e-commerce, that if they were shipping something we call single page applications today, they will be losing over $100 million per month because it will be so slow for the users to do stuff, they will have to leave. So just imagine the real business effect where an e-commerce shop will be losing like $100 million every month if they were just shipping too much JavaScript. So it's not a fictitious claim, it's actually a real world paid today. So what myself and other people have known in web dev, a few other people have been advocating for is like, let if JavaScript is not needed, they don't ship it. You could do everything with JavaScript, but don't just send it to your users, except it's needed to do stuff. So that has been the change we've seen, where everyone is building everything in JavaScript, and they forget that the web is a platform, and the web have other technologies like HTML, like CSS, that could do a lot of the stuff that they are sending JavaScript for today. Yeah.
So, as a developer, tell me this: is it possible for a business website to be performed in any devices in the world and in any country with a minimal internet connection?
Yes, the technologies exist today, but it's just the interest and probably the education. So it's possible to build a business website, and maybe it's just a website, you're just showing stuff like your marketing page. You need zero JavaScript for those kind of websites, like zero. And you find out that when you ship zero JavaScript and you just ship HTML, search engine will love you because Google crawler can crawl it easily. And also your users will love you because they get to load the page really fast because JavaScript is the most expensive thing to send to them. So when you're not sending it to them, they're just going to have a better experience because it's not needed. Yeah.
So, internet business is huge. The websites are
Yeah.
a lot in the system. So, how we can able to give the best website with the best performance to the maximum users?
Yeah. So like I said, the first thing, so I have this little rule of thumb, which is if it can be done without JavaScript, then do it without JavaScript. That's my rule of thumb. So the first rule is don't ship JavaScript at all if you don't need it. The second rule is if you're going to ship JavaScript, your application needs a lot of interactivity, then you need to understand the two ways that JavaScript can actually hurt your pages. One is on load time, the other one is on interactivity. So first of all, if the JavaScript is too much, it's going to take longer. I've seen websites ship over 5 megabytes of JavaScript for something as simple as a landing page. That is crazy because JavaScript is not needed to show a landing page. And your user will download that. And it's also, data is expensive in most part of the world. You're also eating up their data to just look at the landing page, which is not cool. So, but if you must ship JavaScript, there are a couple of technologies that exist today that lets you do that easily. So, for example, there's something called Quick. It lets you do something called resumable web apps where the JavaScript is loaded on demand. So when the user needs the JavaScript, that's when it's being loaded. So that way, the startup time for your application is the same no matter the JavaScript you're shipping. It's something crazy. I really like it because it's just makes your app still like a single page application, but the overhead of just because what a single page application does is that at startup time you just send all the JavaScript. Or even if you're doing something like let's server side render some stuff, you're still going to pay the cost of connecting the JavaScript, even though you send that in HTML. But so there's zero JavaScript first of all. There's also something like Quick. There's also something like Marco, which has been used by eBay for so long. So eBay uses Marco primarily, and it's what they've built on. So you could use those sort of technologies, and even if you're using technologies like the React or Next.js, you need to learn how to make them not hurt your users, because by default, if you don't tweak them, you could just be doing your users a lot of disservice.
So what do you think that most of the software developers or business owners don't understand about how to make a business application run in the internet properly? What do you think the common mistakes that they do, and also which affects the budget?
Yeah. So the common mistake is not understanding the web platform. So most people get into web dev, as to the developers now, they get into web dev by learning a JavaScript framework, and they don't learn the web platform. So the things they are doing with JavaScript can be easily be done with the other parts of the web platform, whether the web APIs or HTML or CSS. So this lack of understanding or education of learning the web as a platform makes people use JavaScript for everything. I love JavaScript, right? But you don't have to. So we all love candy, right? But if you take too much candy, you're going to be sick, right? Because it's too much sweet for your stomach. So that's the same thing with JavaScript. Even though it's good, you could do this fun stuff, but too much of it is bad for your users. So when people don't understand the web platform as a whole, they get to do everything in JavaScript, which is the number one pain. And also, they don't just know and they don't measure, right? So they build in this high-end devices, like maybe like a MacBook or like an iPhone, and in the real world, in actual real use case, your user might not be on an iPhone, might be like an official low-end phone. So you think your website is performing well because your device has the resources and the memory and the RAM to do all that for you, but your users don't have it. So they get to like see your website as janky. So one is education, two is actually meeting your users where they are and trying to simulate as close to the conditions they are going to use your website in.
So every business website and every business owner, no matter where they are from and what industry they belongs to, they want their application to upgrade continuously according to the time and according to the needs. So how do
Yeah,
you manage this continuous integration and continuous deployment as a developer?
yeah, definitely. So first of all, like I said, education is key. So that's why part of my consultation is training teams on how to be efficient and how to ship really fast. And so it's mostly culture and also knowledge and also processes. So there are processes that let you ship really quickly, and also that's why oftentimes you have to stay on top of what's happening in the web dev space and also great technology. So, like, for example, the browsers, for example, have a lot of technologies in them that by default should make your pages fast. You don't have to do anything. For example, there's something we call the back forward cache, which lets, so if a user visits your page and they go to like maybe like a list, like an e-commerce website, right? So they click one of the products and they want to go back immediately. Before now, when they go back, the browser will have to refetch the page. But with the back forward cache, the browser have already cached the last page. So when you go back, it's almost instantaneous, right? And that's you get that for free. But you might be blocking it because of the way you are writing your JavaScript. So to stay on top of that, you probably need to be more educated a good website I would say anyone should go like read is web.dev. It's by Google. It has all this web optimization, um, web performance technology. But if you want help, your problem is unique, it's a good place for you to like get an expert to come look at your website and look at your business needs and actually give it, because it will take you time and you might be doing a lot of try and error, and businesses don't have time for those, um like for you to try things out. So you could like get an expert to with all this knowledge to just come help you out and also teach your team, so you don't always need that expert. So that would be like it will just take out all the hours of you, like of you trying to figure it is like you take out the time of you trying to figure things out yourself and just makes you move quicker.
So you worked as a consultant and you're a developer. So talking with people as a consultant and talking with computer, with the programming languages and with the
Yeah.
skill set. So how is that? Explaining the business, I mean, trying to understand the business problems and business needs from the owner or the company, and uh, trying to match it with the technology services or technology tools that you have. So how do you define two people in you, consultant and a developer?
Yeah. So I'm sort of like the way I think about development. So most developers think code first. I think problem first and users first. So it sort of make it easy for me. So even now, even when I do my own projects, I think what would the user do? What do they want to do? And then I work my way backwards to the code. So it sort of make it very easy. So the user need is always my first source of truth. So when I speak to clients, that is where the conversation starts from. What are your users supposed to do with your app or your website? Then I work backwards into the code. So code never comes first for me. Use cases and real world problems come first. It just makes it a lot easy, because when you start out building without understanding the problem, that's where you make all those mistakes that you have to fix. But when you start with a mindset like you're user oriented, so it's like Jeff Bezos, right, which is obsessed over your users. So I'm mostly, what can the user do? What do you want to do? I try to forget about the technologies at first, and then because of what they want to do or what my clients want to achieve with their businesses, I then work my way back to suggest technologies that will fit that use case, not just like a general technology. So I get what they want to do and then work my way back with the technology. So that's just how I code and that's how I do my consulting. So it's all one process.
So you work for different business applications. So what scale they belong to?
What?
What is the scale of the business application that you work for?
It's so it depends. So in scale in terms of users, a couple of thousands. In terms of teams, I think last one will be like a team of 5 or more. So for now, I haven't gotten like a very huge enterprise users with hundreds of thousands of users, but mostly low to mid level. Yeah, so that's the scale they belong to. But at the end of the day, I believe the needs of a large scale business and the mid scale in terms of because no business would want to say that let my website be slow, right? So every business needs a performance website. So I haven't had the opportunity to work with a very large customer with hundreds of thousands of users, and I think that would be fun too. But my choices, of course, is going to be also inching on their scale, but the performance optimization or the JavaScript project might might stay the same, because every business needs it, no matter how, whether you're small, you're mid, or you're large.
But the technology services or technology resources or the infrastructure that you use for small business application and large scale application is different. So uh, it is complex working for application which has a maximum number of users. So how do you solve the problem for the biggest application that you work for and in the given time? Because there should not be a downtime for it.
Yeah, definitely. So I have the opinion that, so how do I say this? You don't have to overcomplicate things. So sometimes when we think enterprise, we probably think it's that complex to apply the same processes for a mid business to them. But I don't really think it's true. Even though they have large teams, a good rule would always work for across the spectrum. So, but depending on their users and also for downtime, like you mentioned, I think the technologies today probably, if you're using them right, and how your apps are architected or your infrastructure is architected, you always aim for like zero downtime, and it is possible, especially if you're using like a platform as a service that already have that baked in. But if you're using things like AWS or you are running your own DevOps and stuff, there are a couple of technologies that could help you have zero downtime, especially with the whole load balancing and everything happening. So it's all servers and infrastructure at that point, which is a little bit interesting. So you're probably going to have to stand multiple versions of your application and maybe tweak one part. And then when that one is, optimized, you could route the traffic from this other part to that one, so you don't have like a downtime. But the deployment strategy always varies, and there's so much of them that you could use, and it's all very, very much technical. But like I said, if it's shipping or with using your JavaScript, it probably will still work for like a large scale business. The same approach that works for mid level. We just have to look at their unique infrastructure and how to layer all these optimizations and tips on top of it.
So, are you good in doing architecture?
Yeah, so I love servers, databases, and architecture stuff. I think in big business, what they like are containers and cloud and Kubernetes and all that stuff. So, apart from JavaScript, something I've been like, so I would say I'm more of a backend developer than a front-end developer, although I can do both, and you would really know which one is my strength because I've been doing it for so long. I'm what you call like a full stack developer, but I'm really good with infrastructure, databases, and also deployments and just helping teams build very efficient infrastructures. Yeah.
So, what cloud services you used and which cloud company that you worked for?
So for me, I like to keep things simple. So for my applications, I mostly use Render.com is a platform as a service. I was using Heroku before I moved to Render, and Render is a service I just forget I have because they take care of a lot of things. There's zero downtime deployment already baked in, and there's GitOps. So if you're in the web dev space, you know something called Git. So and GitHub. So when I push my code to GitHub, um, Render will detect it and build a new version of my website. And there's no downtime in between and I can also roll back. So like a previous version, if something goes wrong, or Render would actually roll back if the deployment was not successful. So that already gives me zero downtime by default. So that's what I use primarily because it's simple and it also works for every type of apps. And it's under the hood render deploys on Kubernetes and container stuff. So if you already like container, render will take that out of your hand for you. So that's what I primarily use every time because it just takes the load off the DevOps bit.
So, you do DevOps as well as a developer.
Yeah, so that's the cool thing with Render. I don't have to do DevOps because Render is taking care of it. But I have done a couple of DevOps because I have to build and deploy my websites. So because I'm a team of one. So before Render, I had to do like a couple of that. I had to do some AWS, EC2 instances and all that stuff, and digital oceans and all that stuff. But today, I mostly just use Render.
So, at last, what do you say about your service, the service that you're providing, also about the technology skill set that you have to my audience? for listening and hearing and watching this conversation from anywhere on this planet?
Yeah, for sure. So for me is you sort of owe your users the the good performance for your website, right? And it's very easy to forget that you're building for actual people with diverse context, right? And diverse, so they are all over the world, right? So the first thing I would say is you need to do the work, or your dev team need to do the work to get more educated and measure what they are shipping today to the users. And also with analytics, you could know what part of the world the users are in and how the internet connectivity is there, and also the sort of like the range of devices. Then you could actually simulate that for your test. So you know how your website is performing there. Because what you could see on your laptop or your old mobile iPhone or whatever might not be what they're saying. So get educated, get more efficient by understanding where they are. Second, for my services is come have a 30 minutes chat with me. If this has been a real pain for your businesses, people are always complaining to your customer support, website is slow, or your dev team, you have a lot of technical debt with the JavaScript and you don't know how to get untangled, or you need like help from an outside eye, because sometimes you don't really see these things except you get like an expert with a fresh eye to come, probe. So my consultation session starts with like a 30 minutes assessment. Then afterwards, like with the turnout time of like a day, I get to see like a well detailed document of everything I've seen and also ask more questions. So if you don't want to proceed, if you want to do the optimization yourself, that's actually what most people would do because it saves them a lot of money. But if you want to save time and really let me train your team and also help them augment your team so that they can deploy the solutions quicker to your users, then we can actually do the actual consultation, which can last from 1 to 3 weeks. So yeah, so come talk to me. Shiplessjavascript.com is the domain, and you could just book a session, and we could help delight your users by shipping less JavaScript.
So can you mention your website?
Shiplessjavascript.com. So that's SHIPLESSJAVASCRIPT.com. So shiplessjavascript.com. Yeah.
This is your company.
Yes, this is the website for the consultation. My company website is Sailscasts.com because I started out with teaching developers how to build full stack applications on JavaScript. So Sailscasts.com. I'm also on Twitter. You could come find me on Twitter at Dominos_Kelvin. So we could chat as well.
I'll put your web links and the websites on my website. People who visit my website can able to see the service that you're providing and can also look at the work that you're doing and the problems that you're solving. Also,
Yeah.
I'll put all the web links on my. I'll try to put your website on the screen as well. People who are watching it can able to see it all the complete video. So at last, as a
Yeah,
developer, as
nice.
a business owner, as a consultant, as a person who is into technology, the person who is into technology, content creation. So what is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
So I did check a couple of your videos, like not really a couple, like one when you reached out on Twitter. I didn't have the time to watch it fully, to be honest, because but I think so. I also do shows like this. So I have two shows. One is Building Business on JavaScript podcast, and also TKYT Teach Kelvin Your Thing. That one is highly technical. So I think you're doing really good, like even from the questions you're asking. So yeah, I think so. I haven't had the time to watch it, but if I do watch it, probably I just like send you like some DM or some tips. But I think so far it's good.
So I personally did masters in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and
Nice.
engineering. Right now I'm doing
Cool.
some DevOps engineering projects for a UK company. So that's my full-time job, DevOps engineer
Nice.
and a software developer. So apart from that, I'm doing interviews like this. More than
Mm.
700 interviews I have took in last 3 years. More than
700?
yeah, and
Oh,
and
that's
I
nice.
have interviewed more than 100 countries experts.
Mm.
So more than 100 countries experts have participated, along with the vice president of Amazon Web Services, Salesforce
Mm.
company vice president, Microsoft people who works in Microsoft who are from United States, mostly from US, Canada,
Nice.
UK, Germany, France, Paris, like everywhere in the world. So I'm trying to connect all the continents. So this is going very well
Nice. Yeah,
from
that's
last.
good. Like, yeah, I think I saw the one with AWS, and I was like, okay, that's cool. That's fun. Well done.
Yeah. So as a founder, as a company owner, as a business owner, also a developer who is into technology business, uh, what is your observation? How this technology skill set that I have, me communicating with computers, it can be DevOps or it can be software development, learning technology skill set, and also communicating with different country people who are into different places in the world who speak different kind of English, and also I interviewed people who are non-technical background, police officers, doctors, authors, psychologists. So
Hmm.
how this communicating with human beings and communicating with computers, how this complete package is going to be helpful for me in future.
Mm. Yeah. So, um, I have of the very strong opinions that what we do in software, it's more of a support role because um, whether you're a developer or DevOps person, the only reason why you have a job is because there are actual businesses that are servicing real people that need the support, right? So do not downplay the people part of what we do. So most developers just focus on the code and they're sort of like oblivious to the fact that this code will not exist if there's no need for it. For example, let's talk about Facebook, for example, right? So Facebook gave us React, right? But the only reason they gave us React is because they were building a social network. So Facebook didn't build a social network to build React. They built React to build a social network. So the people in Facebook don't care about React. They don't care about React Native. They don't even know what that is, right? But that's the reason why Facebook built it. So if you think about it, our job is to leverage computers, leverage all our understanding of technologies to solve real world problems. So if you really want to set yourself apart, you always have to think this way that your skill set is support to real world businesses. It's a mindset shift. It makes you not be overly zealous about a particular technology or, like what people do now, they fight about frameworks and all that kind of shit. No, you focus on problems, right? Like, for example, Amazon, right? They started out with what? They are like a store, but online. But now we have Amazon Web Services. They are this giant in technology. You can see they build all that to build Amazon, which is the online store. So there's always going to be a people part. There's always going to be communication. So to me, the people part is more important than the code part because if there's no people, there's no need for code. So if there's no businesses, there's no need for code, right? So what you're doing now is really, really good because you get to network, which is more important than the code because you can be the best developer or best developer person, and if no one knows who you are, you're not going to get no job, you're not going to get no opportunities because, like I said, no people, no code, right? Nobody, if there's no person that needs it, there's no business that needs it, you never have the opportunity. So since you're putting yourself out there, more of like being a nice person, a helpful person to the business. So not when we start, you're all overly technical, you think in computers, you forget that the business are the ones who pay the bills. So you need to know how to talk to them in the way that they will understand. So I think that's the way to go, where you focus more, like Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, obsess over the user, obsess over the businesses, their real world use cases before the technology. So technology comes last, people first. Yeah.
Great observation. It's valuable for me. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, for sure. Please go ahead.
Also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, definitely. You could do that.
Yeah, I hope that reaches to a lot of people and it helps a lot of people, and also
Yeah,
it
for sure.
benefits a lot of people. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for
It
your
has been
time.
fun. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Sai. Bye.